I'm starting to get back into more solid wood projects, so that means pretty much everything is going through the combo machine.
The Wood Night is sponsored by I Would Like.
One of the reasons why pretty much everything goes through the combo machine around here is because of the cutter head on it. It's a combination of two things that leaves a surface finish that's pretty much finish ready. First thing is the segmented cutters on an angle create a shearing cut. Second thing is each of these cutters are carbide. Technically speaking, carbide doesn't get as sharp as high-speed steel, but it keeps its not quite as sharpness much longer than high-speed steel keeps its much sharpness. So these end up being sharper for longer than high-speed steel does. Now that's all well and good that I believe that they do a pretty good job of surface finishing, but I thought I'd take you through a bit of a test to see what the surface finish actually is. I've got a bit of an array of material here. Alright, starting off on our right, we've got some bog standard 90 by 35 construction pine. So this is, I think, radiata pine. Could be Baltic, but I think it's radiata pine. Next on the list, and this is going up in hardness on the Jenker scale, is some blackwood. And as you can see, this has got all the circular saw marks from milling. There's some dry rot. It's generally a pretty rough board, if I'm perfectly honest. Next is some construction grade hardwood, and in Victoria at least this is Victorian ash or Tasmanian oak. It's the same timber. Then going up quite the extreme, we've got a small piece of jarrah. This is about 40 by 40. Jarrah is not the hardest wood in the world, but it contains a high amount of silica. And the end result is that this dulls tools very quickly. And finally, the real disaster piece, this is some red gum. Not only is it some pretty rough shaped red gum, it's also got some paint on it. This was once a fence post. So we're going to start with the pine and work our way across. So as you can see, we've got a pretty stellar job here. The pine, it's a little hard to see. I'll see if I can get a better angle on it. It's quite shiny. The blackwood, despite being way more warped than I thought it was, has got some lovely grain here. This is mostly dry rot here. Tassie oak actually doesn't look that much different. Before you put finish on it, it can be a bit of a boring wood. The only wood the machine had a little bit of a problem with was this jarrah here, and you can see these waves of very cranky grain, and that is actually fairly typical of jarrah. It is quite commonly interlocked grain. So if we look at how it was, these sort of sides, that's actually quite a good surface. It's well dead straight and very smooth. But the real standout performance is the red gum. So this is a fence post that was painted, looked like that, now looks like that. Yeah, I took a few passes, but I also took a few passes at 2mm cutting depth, which is not exactly light duty for this sort of timber, so that's come out great. So if I was to use this piece, I'd still need to go down a little bit further, but the point was to demo the cutting power of carbide tools. Prove how nice it looked, let's put some metho on, or denatured alcohol. Get a little bit more on there. And you can see that that right there is pretty much finish worthy right now, including some nice quilting there I didn't quite realise was in there. And that's a lovely piece of timber that would have otherwise been firewood. Thanks for watching.